On the line now is Steve Chandler, who is a property development expert. Steve, good morning.
Thanks for having me.
So in terms of stimulus of the construction sector, first of all, how is the construction sector tracking in comparison to other sectors? Because from some of the tradies that I've been talking to, they've had heaps and heaps of work because people have been stuck at home and have realised that they actually want to develop their homes.
Yeah, Mitch, everything at the moment in the construction industry is sort of carrying on as normal. The only thing is a lot of the new build type of work is starting to disappear, and forward books for people in the construction industry are starting to drop. There is a bit of the small scale renovations, bathrooms, kitchens, that type of stuff going on, and unfortunately, as this the recovery starts, if you like. When JobKeeper finishes, we're going to start seeing a lot more people potentially lose confidence when they don't know that there's going to be a income coming in. And I believe that's actually going to impact in the next sort of 3 to 6 months with a lot of the small-scale work disappearing. The stimulus that's out there right now that the government's announced, that's going to help your project home builders and people of that nature who are doing these new builds. But it won't help the small-scale builders who do home renovations, for example.
So to be clear, the government stimulus, that targets renovations, does it?
Well, the government stimulus, the federal government stimulus, is for people who want to spend $150,000 to $750,000. So not many people are going to be doing a kitchen for $150,000. So it's not really going to do anything at that bottom end, which is the home renovation sort of scenario, unless you're talking about doing a major alteration addition, a second story, or something of that nature.
So you're calling for a few reforms in this area to try and help support the industry during this time. What do you think needs to be done?
Yeah, look, there's quite a few things that I think at a federal level the government can only do so much. And what you need to do is drill down into state level and start seeing the state government mandating to local councils to actually start helping the people who want to do the kitchens, the bathrooms, and putting an extension, a small extension out the back. Someone who doesn't meet that $150,000 hurdle, and they can be doing things like waiving the development application, permit application fees. They can be providing certification services, at no cost. The home warranty, home indemnity insurance scheme. They could be rebating the premiums on those type of things to keep the trades and the builders busy at that sub $150,000 level, because that's where the biggest impact, to me, is made by the tradie who's travelling across town. He's stopping for petrol. He's buying hardware and stuff from the local hardware store. He's getting his smoke on his lunch in the local shop. That's what we really want to see. We want to see these little builders and the tradies actually getting the work, because otherwise it's just in those larger scale project home builders who are picking up all the work, and the bottom end of the industry misses out.
That home warranty insurance that you mentioned, how does that work?
So in various states, you have a insurance scheme that insures against the builder after they finish the home becoming insolvent. And the various states have different schemes that say, you pay a premium for that policy, and it covers you for the statutory warranty periods under the various home building acts. So that policy, on a $150,000 renovation might be a couple of $1,000s. Now, there's a couple of $1,000s that could easily be spent on the renovation, and it's about confidence. So if I'm going to do a $100,000 renovation, I'm not going to get a grant. I want to go to 150 to try and get that $25,000 grant from the federal government. But 150 might be just a little bit too much for me to commit to, because I might not know that in 3 months' time I've got a job.
And so, just on that, JobKeeper, should that be extended, do you think, and if so, for how long?
Yeah, look, to me, JobKeeper is terrific. It's fantastic what the government's done there to try and keep confidence. The only thing is, whenever you have a scheme of that nature, it's going to have an end date. And what we're looking at is, come September, JobKeeper ends and people not certain about what their future holds within their company, they're going, oh my God, I'm not going to spend $1 because I might not have a job in September. So to me, I think JobKeeper has done a very good thing right now. I believe it needs to be extended, perhaps at a lower dollar value, but I think it needs to be extended because what we need in the community is confidence. Confidence that there's a fallback position, because no one's going to spend money if they're not confident that they're going to be able to either repay it or, have money sitting in their savings account just in case they lose their job.
And this is the whole problem. It's not necessarily talking about the construction sector, but more broadly the people that invest in renovations or new home purchases.
Yeah, absolutely. And something that we shouldn't forget either is that investors are needed for the rental market. And we've got to keep investors looking at investing in property, whether they're putting a granny flat. Like you could be a homeowner and putting a granny flat out the back, and you're providing, by doing so, you're providing a more affordable accommodation for someone to rent. So things of that nature, a granny flat isn't covered by the stimulus. Mm. So, those are the sorts of things to me that, we should be looking at things of that nature. Investors are a major part of the property industry.
Just to finish off with, one of the big arguments from the opposition has been that we need to be funding affordable housing. Does that get a good return if you, as a government, invest in affordable housing in terms of economic stimulus?
Oh, now you're opening a can of worms. Affordable housing, I have a particular interest in affordable housing. So to me, there should be some added benefit provided or stimulus provided to the affordable and the social housing side of things. So a lot of people think that affordable housing is social housing, but they're two different models. The affordable housing is something that is sort of just basically, if you think about if your current market rent in an area is $500 a week, affordable housing would be $400. So it's to be able to create an asset, a property asset, a build, an apartment, a house, a townhouse, whatever it might be, and to be able to offer it basically at 20% below current market rent. The difficult part of that is that from an investor's perspective, obviously the return is then much, much lower and it becomes not viable for an investor. Government has the opportunity to assist, but social studies have shown that if you just develop affordable housing by itself, socially it doesn't work. It affects the people who live there. You actually need a mix of social, affordable and normal market rent in a development.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your expertise this morning. Really appreciate it.
Fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Steve Chandler joining us there, property development expert.